Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast, where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations. I am your host, Juice, aka Nor and brother.
All right, what's good, world? Welcome back to your favorite podcast. I go by the name of King Exodus, aka X. So, tonight's episode, we're gonna talk about some real shit that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Definitely caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is going crazy over it. A lot of people got a lot of stuff to say about it. So, we got the successful 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, his son, Marquise. So, giving that a little bit of a backstory for those who may not know, uh, the backstory that you know what I'm saying that I read from 50 was this is 50 Cent's firstborn, his oldest, and of course he was with the mother prior to the success, so she was there like kind of sort of in the beginning of these stages. So pretty much they outgrew each other. You know what I'm saying? 50 wanted to grow more and conquer his ambition. You know what I mean? She kind of wanted to play more of the entitled role, uh, not really put forth a work ethic, right? So this drew a wedge between that relationship. So 50 told a story. He was like, one time he was out with his little man, and they passed up a sneaker store. They go inside the sneaker store. He see that the store is going out of business. So he like bet. So he buys out the inventory, right? Buys out the whole store. Come up with a great idea. His son can start selling shoes online. This is prior to like eBay and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Well, selling shoes and all that online.
Before Godex and all that popped off.
Right. So the son agrees to it. So the mom hits him back, you know what I mean, with the son on the phone. And then she's like, yeah, so instead of the shoe business, we decided we want a restaurant. So these are kind of situations that's going on.
I want a
So boutique, boutique. Okay. Right. So these are the type of situations that's going on, right? So this eventually drew a wedge between 50 and his son. So now, fast forward to modern day, 50 Cent is 50 Cent of today. Now his son is receiving reportedly a minimum of 6,700 in child support.
At the
Now,
age of 26.
correct. 26-year-old man receiving 6,700 a month. It was also stated that prior to him receiving 6,700 in child support, it was once upon a time where the mom was getting 25,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna put that on tape.
Mm-hmm.
So the son is going on a trolling, you know what I'm saying, frenzy, saying that $6,700 a month is not enough money for child support for a grown adult. All right, we got to put all that in.
Put all that in.
You know what I mean? A grown adult saying 6,700 is not enough in child support. So 6,700 a month would equal out to about 80,400 a year. Uh, this money is non-tax. You know what I'm saying? This is free money for a 25-year-old. Now, keep in mind, most people that's at the working age, 25, hell, we can even push to 30, probably don't make 80,000 a year. Let's just put that out there.
Right.
So we got somebody making more than what the average person does within that particular age range that's making more off of free money versus people that actually got to get up and go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason for the conversation, just to talk about not just 50 Cent and his son, but other situations where people feel entitled financially. We're just gonna, have fun with this and see where it goes. So what you got
Right.
on?
He brought up the 50 Cent and Son situation. I'm gonna
Mhm.
touch a bit on the basis. I feel like that's weird. Some of us start working at the age of 16,
Mhm.
15. Some of us was working underneath the table. I'll do a landscaping at the age of 14 or 12. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I've been out there since the beginning, and
Mhm.
it's amazing. Like as I was reviewing his son's like IG as well as his other conversations he has had. If you ever pay attention to the way he engages with his mother and how the mother engages with him, it's like they're somewhat in a relationship. Like really pay attention to how they talk, right?
Mhm.
His mother was talking. She was like, "Yeah, I raised that boy," and he was like, "Yeah, mama, tell him stink." Yeah, I was like, "Whoa, bro, I'm not doing that with my mom." But there's definitely something there that a lot of people not see. Like in this situation, they call them son husbands, right? She
Mm,
raised him into a point where it seems like he don't know how to detach himself. So during his trolling race, he's also mimicking his father with stuff that he did before, right?
mm,
I don't know if y'all seen one of 50 Cent's posts years ago when he was getting sued by Rick Ross. He had then put up a picture of money and it said broke in the background. Y'all don't remember that one, right? So the son trolls him later on and puts the
mm,
words entitlement. And I'm
mm,
like, bro, like you don't even know how to talk to your pops. You know what I'm saying? It's a long list of story between that relationship that people don't understand. That everybody just want to jump bold and jump shit, be like, oh, he's wrong. He should try that relationship with his son. Like one of the main things that really sparked that relationship off that made him not want to be around his son was imagine if, for instance, imagine if I was trying to assassinate X, right? Years later, you hate your dad so much, you come take a picture with me.
mm,
We don't talk about everything else his son did. You're drawing your alliance by feeding into the negativity that went
mm,
on into his life. But you want to side with the enemy, and he could have been gone since that day.
mm,
Another financial entitlement I want to bring up is the Eddie Murphy situation. I don't know if you know about it.
mm,
Eddie Murphy got a divorce, right? His
mm.
ex-wife's been raising his daughter. The wife said, God damn it, $25,000 a month is not enough to raise this child. I need 35. Eddie Murphy quickly signed off on it. I said, bro, did she just say it's $35,000 I need to raise a child? But we know what's behind those situations at the same time. Why don't we ever talk about how much it really costs to raise a child versus your living situation? That's what's really going on, right? She said, "Hey, I'm not used to this type of lifestyle. I'm used to, feng shui. I need all the nice stuff."
Oh, she
But
used to.
whew,
She's used to
but
that.
it never came on her money. That's another
Right.
thing we talk about. It never came on her money. It came on her husband money, the man's money. That's why when it comes to marriages and relationships, you have men that's like, I don't know about marriage, bro, because these celebrities getting hit like that. But we always say like, bro, that's celebrities. No, it's people that's middle class, upper middle class still get hit like that. Five
Mm,
G's, 4 G's, 3 G's a month. It don't matter, but it's on the basis that you really see that it's the lifestyle. It's not even a child. You gotta be honest, like be honest with yourself. Like a child really doesn't know how much you truly have until
mm.
later on in life, until like a kid or another adult says something, then you really start looking to the picture like, oh, okay, these people got money.
Right.
Right. But no, that's just my little rant. I was bringing up another subject when it came to financial entitlement.
All right. Before I go there, man, I got to. 50 said some powerful shit. He said, "How long do you love something that don't love you back?"
Hmm.
And a lot of times within the parental space, especially when it comes to fatherhood, it's like this narrative that this father has this undying love for his children,
Hmm.
no matter what happens, even if none of that shit is mutual.
Hmm.
And in a lot of situations, that's not the reality. You know what I mean? So he also made another statement about it. He was like, if it slither like a snake, if it, you know what I'm saying, if it do something like a snake, I don't have to wait for that snake to bite me. And that's
Hmm.
going back referencing, you know what I'm saying, his son even made a diss record about his father.
Right, bro. It's a lie. People just
Yeah.
look at it like, oh, you should try to. No, it's a lie.
You know what I mean? And then taking a picture with Preem's son, that's the guy that shot, got 50 hit up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like pretty much saying, so when 50 come back and he say, look, I mean, like, I can't really comment too much on, you know what I'm saying, some of the shit that 50 said back, because 50 was like, hey, I wouldn't even care if my son died. You know, I
Hmm.
can't relate to that. You know what I mean? That's a little extreme to me, but I do believe that just taking into consideration sometimes as children, especially sometimes being with our mother
Hmm.
and not our father, we can inherit that hatred for that other parent. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not genetically from her DNA, but it can be embedded in us, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis to where we're taught, hate that person.
Hmm.
Fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? I never forget one time I was a little kid. I think I was probably like 5. I don't know how I remember this shit, but I was picking up on energy that my mother had towards my father at the time. I
Mm.
remember telling my dad I didn't love him at 5 years old. He just broke down and cried in front of me. I didn't know what the fuck I was saying. You know what I mean? So imagine that energy growing into 12, 14, 16. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't see the other parent present, but you never really know both sides of the story. Right. So I just had to kind of put that out there. We have to get back to making love mutual, even from that parental and child relationship, especially being on the father team. We can't just say that these men just always got to do the right thing no matter what, and their kids can say fuck them until they die.
Mm.
That's my strain on that. We love mama no matter what, you know, dear mama, we love her no matter what.
Mm.
We have to make that energy synonymous with being a father as well. So that's why I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said, right? My pops was incarcerated most of my life, right? The memories I have of him was like to like 3 or 4 years old, right? And I remember he got out of prison like around when I was 22, 21. And even as the times was going on, my mom would take us to visit him. You know what I'm saying? Drive us there. I had pictures. He was part of a program. Like I was getting gifts from him. I used to have this throwback jersey that he was able to send to me. And I remember when he got out, we was talking for a little bit, and like he was very upset one day. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" He's like, "Man, your mom trying to put me on child support." I said, "Huh?" I was like, "Yo, how did that work? You was locked up." He was like, "Whoa, she's still just trying to press the thing." So I remember I kind of went to my mom with a little attitude. I was like, "Yo, this man was locked up. Like, what's going on here?" She was like, "Well, don't you ever forget I'm the one that raised you, man. That motherfucker didn't do shit." I was like, "Yo, he was in jail. Like how is anybody supposed to enable themselves to do something or provide for a child when they're locked up?" But I learned it's a lot of situations, scenarios I grew up with other male child, such as myself, that grew up in a single parent household, had that same hatred. Like when they'll see their father when they be happy, but when they get home, the mother remind them why they ain't shit. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And you get through a you get to a crossroad because you want the person that's taking care of you is the person you really supposed to love the most. The person that's not around is just like, oh, you just there. Um, and I realized like how detrimental that can be at the same time if a person really doesn't understand. Like as I got older, I had to reflect on, situation, conversations with my mom and stuff like that. I remember people used to ask me all the time, like, yo, what is it like not having your pops around? I was like, shit, I don't know. I don't really just phase out of it. I just kind of like phased out of it as a child, like real young. You know what I'm saying? Football games, baseball games, we all playing sports. None of our parents was around. Me and my sister had the same father. My brother has another father. Like they weren't around. It wasn't like we like. It's to a point where it's just normal. Like to some people, it's just normal. Like hey, someone's got dad, some of us don't. But uh, during those type of situations, you do have to be cautious on like how you feed your child energy because they will take that and run with it. So that's when I brought up that scenario with you before, like what happened to one of my homeboys and his fops. And he said, "Hey, son, I'll be gone for 3 days." And then he said, "Like, where you going?" He said, "When you get older, you'll understand. And when you finally get older, from a child to a teen, as a young man, you understand what the fuck they meant or what they was going through at the same time. Because there's also entitlement, like, yo, I gave you a child, you supposed to give me everything else that comes with it. The house, the car. I need all that."
Okay. All right. So with that child dynamic and the conversation, um, it's kind of like knowing the price of everything and the value of nothing. So children should be taught, especially ones, because all of us, the talk now, everybody talking about generational wealth. I want to make sure my children don't have to work for nobody and they gonna live the best life. Okay, so with that comes the responsibility of still explaining to them price and value,
Mm,
right? So let's just keep it simple. Let's say we got this shit out right now, Uber Eats. You know what I mean? You can
mm,
pay, food come to the front door. You pay like an extra $10 or $15, they drop the food off.
right.
If your kid is ordering Uber Eats more than understanding, hey, go get groceries. You know what I mean? Make that type of food.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating a problem here
Mm-hmm.
because $100 on Uber Eats versus $100 of groceries, same amount of money, completely different value.
And a
You know
longer
what I
story
mean?
of food
Right,
too.
right. So it's not just saying that, okay, since I want more from my child, I'm gonna make sure that they can spend money at a fast pace. And now I've achieved something as a black parent. No, they should have money, inherit money, but also know what to do with the money and understand money. This is why son is saying shit like that, because clearly he don't understand money. You know, so they even have videos of him for his birthday, driving around in a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? Just living his best
Yeah,
fucking life.
yeah.
So remember, the average working adult between 25 and 30 does not make 80,000. You know what
Right.
I mean? Average. That person don't understand money. They don't understand the value of money. You're
Mm-hmm.
spending money as if you're your father and you're not your father,
Yeah.
right? And I'm pretty sure 50, even if he spends money like that, he still understands the value of money, which would come down to investments and all these other type of things.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to create rich babies, you know what I mean? Uh, what's the trust fund babies? If we want to create that as black people, we also have
Yeah.
to pass down the knowledge and information so that they know what to do with that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Generational wealth is pointless if a generation just gonna throw the shit in the toilet. You want generations to flip the money and understand the money. You know what I'm saying? Move the way you would move with it, not do the opposite. So this goes back to, what are we being taught at home? Are we learning financial literacy at home? You don't have to be wealthy to understand financial literacy. It's not only for the wealthy. You know what I mean? Even if you're in the middle class, understanding that can still keep you afloat and have you moving better than other people that's in that same class with you
Mm-hmm.
because you understand the value of money. So, you know, it's cool, you know, when we listen to songs, you know, blowing money fast and blowing the check, and that's cool. But a lot of that energy should come when everything else is taken care of. Bills is paid, money is in an investment. So you don't see that side of the rap song. You know what I'm saying? When Diddy said, it was a video that Nip was giving reference to, and he was like, "Man, we can't create that same kind of energy because I just made like a $40 million check prior to that video." So that's why I went so crazy in the video. I just cashed a $40 million check. So that's the side of it that we should pay more attention to. You know what I mean? So I'll let you take it on that. Value of money, prices, anything you got on that.
Oh man. I remember I remember like y'all gotta understand, like I was around like I always say, bro, I'm split between two worlds, right? The professional side, and that was the time when I was around the street side. And well, I remember being around one rich side, man. And he was like, you know what's very disrespectful? And I said, what? He said, when a man talks shits to me and he has a negative net worth. I was like, well, I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like 22, 23 at the time. I didn't really understand the net worth part. You know, I always heard it. Then when I researched it, I was like, damn, that's kind of disgusting. Like people be talking a lot of shit about money, but the main thing you should always look at is their net worth in a positive or is it a negative. That lets you know how well they understand money, right? That's why when they say like, hey, if a woman wants to live off a man's strictly finances, then you have to be able to live at the level he can be able to provide for, right? Otherwise, if you keep trying to extend to what you want and he's not there yet, what he ends up doing, going to the negative net worth. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to be smart how to utilize money, and then the women you get involved with, the men you get involved. All that matters, right? I'm very calculated. I be telling people all the time, like, yeah, I get you Thursday. Hey, I get you Saturday. I already hit my budget. I'm not going over there unless it's an emergency. Unless it's an emergency, then I'm going over my budget. Other than that, I really don't care for it. A lot of men I'm starting to be around. Like I said, you can observe. Even how people look at housing in the cars. Area I'd be around, right? Houses run anywhere from 200 to like 800 grand. And some of the houses at 800 grand be having the most normal ass cars. Toyotas. Hondas, Buicks, like the SUVs, and the ones that be like 300. Sure, I see Maseratis, the new Corvettes. I didn't seen the Maybachs. I'm like, shit. And it made me wonder, like, okay, what is their net worth? You know, you start questioning certain things, you know, there's certain things you can substitute as a right thing before you get there. Right? I'll take the regular car for a nice house. Or people be like, yeah, I'll take a nice car and get an average house. Either way, it can still be a plus at the same time, depending on how you understand the value and utilization of how you use your money. Assets over everything is how I look at it. Um, Even right now, I'm looking at getting a credit line increase for my next investment. I'm like, shit, if I don't have the capital, use the credit. If I got the credit, shoot, might as well utilize it at the same time. But understanding like my utilization of percentages that I need to use before I get into the negatives of it. I like business and credit. That's just my type of thing. But yeah, we got to be cautious of how we do things. Savings accounts, investment accounts, also stocks, bonds. You have what else you got over there? The investment portfolio, business side, self entrepreneur. As more importantly, we got to get people that have competent skills. Competency pays, right? I remember I was just listening to an audio today. A woman said she had a freight liner. She made a food truck, right? She said, I got tired of the food truck and I decided to rebuild the inside of my food truck and I made it into a boutique. She said, when I made it into a boutique, people were so amazed that when people came in, they would buy. She said, I made more money turning my food truck into a on wheels boutique than it was when I was like, damn, that's some unique stuff. So you can take even the smallest assets you have and recreate it and make a bigger asset. So that's all I got right there.
Right. And the whole breakdown of what you gave about the houses and the cars they have. See,
Mm,
one key component to that is some people feel like those people always understood that. Like that's just they always understood the value of money. Maybe some people was taught that, right? Rich dad, poor dad. A lot of people that got those houses, they got those normal cars. Well, they probably lost a home before. We don't talk about that side.
mm,
It's the experience sometimes where these people learn more so the value of money was from taking losses.
mm,
A lot of times we'll just see people successful and see how they move and assume that, okay, they always move like that. So, you know what I mean? Like, nah, those people probably took L's. That's why they got normal cars in the driveway, because they didn't have the fancy ones and they seen how they probably fucked something else up. Or they might have got the fancy one in the garage and the normal one outside the garage. You know what I mean? Like we don't really know. But experience is key with money. Um, Another point I can talk about is like you say, kids investing. I never forget. I had a conversation with baby girl. She's an Apple baby. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, okay, bet. These phones is $800, $1,000,
mm,
$1,000 phones. You know what I mean? The cheapest probably 800. Most people got, you know what I'm saying, other Apple devices. Cool, bet. The stock price was about 160 at the time. I think it's about like 140 now. You know what I mean?
mm,
So I'm like, look at what they did. They'll sell you the stock cheaper than a product. So if you
mm.
want to become the product, fuck with the stock.
Right.
Build that relationship up. Even if they don't understand what stocks to invest into or what to invest into at that particular space, just start teaching them, hey, whatever you consume, put money back into it. Start building relationships like that with your money.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Your kids should never really just start seeing a lot of money going out and nothing ever coming back. You know what I
mm,
mean? So just imagine how dope that would be having a 12-year-old, 13-year-old child that got these products and still can tell you, hey, I know the CEO of the company. I know what the company's getting ready to do next. I own this many shares in the company. Yeah, but I still got my cell phone. Like, that's how you beat that dynamic. So
no.
if that kid grows into wealth or inherits your wealth or whatever, they already know how to bridge relationships with their money versus just having a high and buy relationship to it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't get married to their money. You know what I mean? They just one night stand their money off. So
One night stand.
yeah,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
hey, that's the
High
ones
and
that
buy.
throw their rent money at the strip club,
Yeah, you know what I
man.
mean? So hey, we gotta start teaching our kids how to have real relationships with their money. So that's my talk on that.
Man, definitely I want to piggyback after that. Y'all gotta understand, like, kids between the ages of what is this? I think it was like 5 to like 16 right now on YouTube and start their own businesses. Like a lot of them kids is getting rich off just being taught the right things, the correct things. I
Right.
was like, yo, this is crazy. They got millionaires, not even just on YouTube. Like they're creating clothing lines now. They got like some of them are playing video games. Their parents are utilizing them in a way for them to make money. Like, I
Mhm.
think this was one kid, like one of the top streamers. I can't think of his name. He's from the UK. He's from the UK, and his whole basement is designed as a rave show.
Mhm.
Right? It's crazy. Like, as soon as he kills somebody, he'll press this button, and everything around him will start lighting up, and music start playing. He got a flamethrower in the crib. I said, "Yo, they is marketing the shit out of this kid, bro. They are smart. They're gonna utilize what he likes and make money off of it. He's getting sponsorships. I was like, yo, bro, like, damn, mom, why you record me when I was playing games back then? Shit, I could have been, you know what I'm saying? The way that took off now, and also another thing you said that I like is you gotta also remember the type of individual you get involved with.
Mhm.
Kanye gave Kim a certain present, right? She
Mhm.
opened it. There was a Mickey Mouse. There was some Beats, and I forgot what the other one is. She was like, "Oh, this is cute." He said, "No, no, no, no. Everything you see in front of you, I bought you. So I bought stocks for you in. You have stocks in
Mhm.
Disney. You have stocks in Apple." And I was like, "Yo," you know what I'm saying? Even the way his gift giving was different. I was like, "That's some slick stuff." Um, Man, and not to mention, like you said, whatever product you wear the most, invest into that company. You got Kanye that's now makes 68% of online sales for Adidas.
Mhm.
He's trying to say, look, I'm about to get to a point where you might as well make me the head person of this company now.
Mhm.
That's power. That's when you create value value within the company with what you bring to the table. They ain't got no choice but like, no, we can't take this off the table. We're gonna lose. It's a
Mhm.
whole different market. Right?
Right.
That's why one of my favorite things about learning about business and being around people all the time. It's like, yo, stop trying to always start your own business. Jump in another business, build that up, and go get your equity in it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
shit.
Mhm.
Like, but nobody thinks like that, bro. Oh, I might get fucked up. No, no, no. Do the work, pitch it out, or pitch it out first, and then do the work. Go get
Mhm.
what you deserve. Go add value. That's all you got to do in this world. Add value, become competent, and teach. That's where you make more money. When you teach, people return the favor.
All right, cool. Another little exercise that just hit me in the head is like, okay, cool. I remember I was maybe 13. I was out with my dad, and we went to the mall, and I never forget. I wanted a pair of Jordans. He was like, "All right, bet, cool. So you see that price? You can get them J's, or I think it was like Fila's or Adidas. It was something else on sale, like two for 89.99 or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
the feelers back there. You know,
So,
feelers was hot back then, boy.
so Pops was like, "Look, I can get you like 4 pairs for that one price." You know what I mean? So,
Mm,
you want those or you want the J's? I was like, "Give me them shits over there." You know what I mean? I take them. So it's little experiences like that, but he still bought me J's too. So I still do the same thing with mine. You know what I'm
right.
saying? You know, a lot of us we do it. We fuck our kids up. You know what I'm saying? They babies and Jordans and what a baby need Jordans for. But they're gonna outgrow them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We putting Gucci and Louis Vuitton on our babies and
Baby don't even know what the fuck that is, man.
you know what I mean? So a lot of times we do it. So what I do is it's like, okay, cool, I can expose you to that, but I still need to take you to Target. I still need to
Hey,
take you.
Target, baby.
I still need to take you to, famous footwear and shit. See if we can find some shit in there. Just so they get a balance of realities. Because if the only thing they know is luxury, spend, 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 brand, 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 you're making them a slave to brands. And you just think you're doing a great job because
Man,
they look fly.
that's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? So you don't have to be in design or brands just to look good. Those are lessons that we should give our kids, especially being black,
Oh,
because
shit.
we what the biggest consumers and the smallest by percentage. I don't agree with the numbers. That's another conversation.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
endorsing numbers,
yeah,
but we
yeah,
make
yeah, yeah.
about
It's gonna come with it.
11%, 13%, but we spend the most money. So these are the kind of things that we contribute to society. It's not society. We can't always just blame the TV screen, blame the entertainer that's dripped out and shit. We do this shit as well. So I just want to say that. Make sure you give them a reality of different lifestyles. Even if you don't struggle, I'm not saying teach them struggle, but teach them longevity, teach them value. That way they become well balanced beings. Steve Harvey talked about it. He was like, look, um, the example he broke it down, he was like, look, life is like jumping, right? And you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you got a parachute. He was like, that's what my shit was. I jumped, I fell, I bust my ass. He like, my kids, they can jump, they can do all kind of gymnastic shit and acrobatics because
Acrobatics,
they
yeah,
got some
I got
shit. They yeah, strings pulling back when they fall, and they got plus shit they can land on. They don't know what it's like to fuck up and not have a cushion because they got him.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So he's saying like, damn, how do I send my kids to these white schools and they have to go there and have all the same shit they got, and then they come home with that mentality. They ain't got no dog in them. They don't understand life,
Mm.
right? Because I'm doing so well. So it's like a lot of us in Hollywood, as far as black people, struggle with that. It's like, how do we raise kids to be successful, live better than us, and still have a dog in them at the same time? So
So that's one of the most difficult things they ever say about Hollywood is, over spoiling your child or raising them a certain way. Um, Piggyback off what you said, Kevin Hart's spoke about that. He was talking about how his son was like coming in talking about flops and all that. He's like, yo, goddamn, he want everything these white people want. And man, so I wanted to agree with my story too. My example is when I teach my daughter, like you did with the shoes, I would literally put the shoe pair in front of them, right? I would literally like, look, okay, this pair of shoes is worth two of these. I was like, would you want two of these or just one of these?
Mhm.
Let her decide, right? One thing that a lot of people did back then, they also made like even the shoes that are somewhat cheap, Adidas Shell Toes, Chuck Taylors, Vans, they made them styleable that made anybody want to wear them, right? It's only when you try to pinpoint your child out to certain things, that's all they want to do, right? I watched a child at 2 years old to 6 years old only identify Jordans. I said, bro, you had to raise him like that.
Mhm.
And she was like, well, I can't buy him nothing. All he wants is Jordans. I was like, you've been doing that since he was two. Like, that's only what he identifies with.
Mhm.
He said, well, he says they don't feel right. Again, this is what you let them get identified with, right?
Mhm.
I have my daughter is a high consumer and doesn't spend the money, right? I was just with her yesterday. We got ice cream. You know what I'm saying? She grabbed my phone. Oh, when you get the iPhone 14, when did you upgrade past me? You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be that. You're supposed to like she's telling me how I'm supposed to use my money. I'm supposed to have everything before you get. I'm like, yo, chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, look, if your mom wants to buy you all this stuff, she can buy it. I said, with me, I'm trying to use my money to make more money. That's what I'm doing right now. So she was like, oh, what are you still gotta buy me a new iPhone. I was like, yo, you just got the new, you already got the 13 that just came out. The X, whatever it is called a Pro. But her mind is so fascinated of having anything that's new coming out. She wants it immediately. And I was like, bro, and I tell her mom, like, yo, you trained her like that.
Mhm.
You can't be upset on how you raised her. And then when she get with me, I have to break it down in more different standpoints. On like, yo, it's okay to have this, it's okay to do that. It's all about how comfortable you are, not how comfortable people make you when you have certain things.
Mhm.
You got to learn the acceptance of accepting yourself and not accepting other people's judgments. I was like, you're only 8. I was like, if anything, it's gonna pick up more when you
Mhm.
hit middle school, before
Right.
you hit high school. If you haven't learned how to accept the small things about what can be provided for you, for me and her, even though we have different, different ways we spend money, at the same time, I also don't be cheap. I'm also not cheap, but it's the whole point of teaching the lesson. I was like, then you're gonna get drained early on. Like
Mhm.
that we forget like the stages that we went through ourselves. Bullying increases the the age level they get up.
Mhm.
So if we can't make them comfortable with the smallest things, they're gonna always be uncomfortable.
Right. And, one of my final points is just pay attention to what people do with their money sometimes. We have a lot of entitled relationships, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
um, mothers, you know what I'm saying, feel entitled to their son's money. We got the whole family member scenario, you know what I'm saying? If we bros, I'm entitled to help you, you know what I'm saying? We have
Yeah.
all these different situations where people is entitled to the shit we work for.
Mhm.
And I've seen so many people, even myself, put myself in financial strains just to give money to these relationships that I felt entitled, that people felt entitled to.
Mhm.
And what tends to happen is sometimes it could be philanthropy, and then sometimes it could be just wasting money because these relationships that you're giving money to, they're not being productive with the money. And we don't talk about that side of
Mhm.
financial entitlement.
Mhm.
So just because we family, just because we friends, we grew up together, whatever the case is, it doesn't create a sense of entitlement that's if I blow up today or tomorrow, or if I got it, I should give it to you just because I got it.
Mhm.
What are you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if me helping you is putting a band-aid on the situation, I'd rather not even do that.
Mhm.
Because what's going to happen, you're going to come back. You're going to keep coming back because you're not fixing your situation. So instead of me giving you a band-aid, I give you a solution. And then that's how we should move in those relationships, or what I've learned. You know what I mean? Sometimes, a lot of times, the people that you love the most can be the reason why you go broke.
Mhm.
Can be the reason why you just lose anything. It don't have to be financially. Giving to the wrong people at the wrong times can offset negative energy within your life.
Mhm.
And you may not even be able to pinpoint why or where it's coming from, but you putting energy into the wrong place.
Mhm.
So that's just something I have to put on the table. We all got family members and people that, always got their hand out, but we don't never see them get up and go to work. We don't never see them pay all their bills before they go fuck off money. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad to tell those type of people no,
Mhm.
even if it's your child,
Mhm.
right? You want to give them more things to feed the beast within them, or you want them to conquer that beast. You know what I'm saying? I seen a TV show, I can't remember which one, and it was a dude. I think he was in the mob. I think this was on Power, Tommy show. His son was a drug addict. So he
Mhm.
walking through the little alley, you know what I'm saying, where all the fiends at. And he tell his son, you need to get your shit together. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm done with you if you don't fix yourself. And while you walking away, he's like, turn around, give him $200. Just because of that love. What his son go do? Buy some more work, smoke it up. You know what I mean? So sometimes helping people can be killing them.
Mhm.
So that's all I got on that. Just be careful who you help because they feel entitled to your help. And then is it really helping them? So,
Mhm. Sure. I'll close it off with the stories of some of the rich people. You got rich people that be like, look, I ain't leaving shit to my kids. They better learn how to get it like I did.
and they're rich. Say that again, and they're rich.
They rich. We talking about
Mhm.
them making 100 mil and up. Those people, not the ones that make like 10, 20. They're talking about 100 mil and up. They like, nah, I'm giving all this out.
Mhm.
Uh, they've been raised a certain. They've been raised. They had a good life.
Mhm.
But I realized some of them say it because they realize how they raised their child. They're not going to make progress because of it. So like,
Right.
no, they get nothing, right? Some of them set up wills like, hey, look, you can't even get this money until you get a degree. Happen in power. Well, say, oh, Tyreek, yeah, I know you killed me, boy, but you can't get this money till you get a couple degrees, and you must maintain a 3 was it 3.0 and higher? Oh, yeah, I think it was like a 3.0 and higher. You have some of these that are making sure, like, when the money is transferred to them, they do certain curriculums before the money is transferred. I believe in that same method. No bullshit. I believe in that same fucking method. If I come back, if me like put it like this, I make 50 mil right now. A family member, a friend asks me for money. I need you to do this curriculum real quick. 'Cause I need to make sure when if I give you any money, you never come back. What I said,
Mm-hmm.
you teach a man how to fish,
Mm-hmm.
you can fish for you can eat for life. So that's how the curriculum is set up to make sure the trust or the wills or anything that happens stay in place is not fucked off. It's not fucked over. It's all about making sure you have the correct placements for everybody individual. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started my life insurance policy early. I
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, I plan on adding to it. I plan on having more kids. I plan on having more wills and all that stuff, right? But my mind has already put in place even early on was like, yo, I gotta set up some shit just to make sure they don't fuck it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe like some people will look at I'm trying to remember his name, man. I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name. But he was like, look, let's say you need this money right now. He was dead. If you
Mm-hmm.
need this money right now, you'll get this big lump sum right now immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you pass this course, you'll get this type of money immediately. Then he said, okay, if you're really smart, you can do it monthly, but you still gotta do one of the two. Or you like if you're gonna choose the money up front, you do it monthly, or you pass the curriculum and you'll do more. He had 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the 4 decided to take the money right then and there. They all fucked it off. The one that was smart enough to go through the curriculum got the bigger amount of money and was smart enough to do it monthly on a basis to a point they start and they start killing the game. But I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like people won't better themselves for the financial literacy. They said they'll just take it now, but at the same time, I believe one of the 3 took the money right now because they already understood how to utilize money. So
Mm-hmm.
only half failed, half passed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how you teach them. One was already ready, that's why they took the money up front, and
Mm-hmm.
one wanted more money, so they did the curriculum. That's all I got right there.
Hey man, that's that's a good episode. We can wrap that one up.
All right,
Um,
man. Tell them where they can find us, man. Where they can find us, man.
yeah, so follow us individually. Up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. We both have our YouTube links posted in our bios.
Mhm.
Hit that link. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have more content on YouTube as well. Thank you for watching. Make sure you share the video and continue to tap in with us.
All right. I hope everybody learned something about financial entitlement, man. Look. We usually end it right there, man. But was there something you learned right now about as we was talking?
Um, that this is not a poor man conversation or necessarily a rich man conversation. Both people that make it to whatever situation, they both experience these type of situations. It's always going to be somebody that feel like they're entitled to what you got. You know what I mean? Whether they're related to you, whether they're close to you. You know what I mean? So everybody goes through these type of situations. I just know that poor people, I feel like we was taught to have bigger hearts and give more for a reason.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like that's not a coincidence. I've had plenty of occasions where I just give people money, strangers. Somebody come up to me, hey, I need some money. You got some change? I give them $1. And go
Yeah.
back to my dad. He'd be like, what you doing that for? He'd be like, they finna go buy some whatever with that shit. And you
Yeah.
contributing to that. I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing because I was conditioned to think that way. Whether it was from the household, whether it was from the church, I was just taught give, 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 give. Never how to properly give, right? But give. You know what I'm saying? So it's conversations we need to have most definitely. So that's my
I
take.
do like that, man. I'll tell the story and then I end it. What you just said hit me, right? You said you give out money to the homeless and stuff. Um, yesterday, right? I was at Walmart. Um,
Mhm.
I had a young lady had cooked for me, and left like food in my refrigerator. So I got enough for like 3 days, 4 days.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm 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 craving a goddamn sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Craving a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
A sandwich, bro. I say
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to go to Walmart and go get this sandwich. So I go buy the bread, I go buy the bologna, but before I walk in, I see my daughter and the mother right there. There's like asking for $2. So as I'm walking out, instinctively, I'm literally about to give them the bread and bologna, but somebody had already beat me to the punch. Because I went in there with a purpose, like I want to make a sandwich, but I had already seen they were asking for food, and I was just it was a want and not necessarily a need. Like I said, I had food at the house, but those are like some of the times where we got to be cautious of things that's going on from our wants and our needs to be able to serve others if we can. Like I said, as I'm walking out, I'm literally about to just give them like fuck it, like I don't need this shit. I just wanted a sandwich. But
Mhm.
somebody came and gave them food, and I was like, all right, well, shit, I can have a sandwich. But yeah, man, just like I said, just be cautious, help anybody out when it's needed. I know sometimes we want to be on the edge, like, oh, I don't know if I should help them. And like you said, possibly like, oh, they're gonna smoke or you know what's gonna happen. I just got to keep myself on an optimistic basis. Like they said, what they do with the money that they ask for, that's in God's hand. So God is gonna bless them or whatever.
I was
But
gonna throw some shit in there. I was gonna be like, hey, what if you pulled up and you was like, hey, look, I got this lunch meat and this bread, and he like, well, I'm sorry, sir, we're vegan.
shoot,
That
I would have
happened.
been like, look, I said, look, come get these fruits real quick, man. Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
it's me just throw the bread on.
yeah. Throw the bread, bro. I remember, bro. I remember. Do you remember Scary Movie? And he said a dollar. He said, you have a dollar, and then she's like, oh, get away from me, you bum. He said, oh, he's just hungry. And he gave her she gave him a sandwich. She said, I said a dollar, bitch, and threw the
I remember that. I remember that.
I wish the mother I wish the motherfucker would do it.
All right, man. We
All
can
right, man, you know,
we
for
can check
sure,
out,
man.
man. All right,
All right,
appreciate
man.
y'all.